What is the worst, rudest way you've been rejected? I can't think of many as an adult if I'm honest, but I always remember an incident when I was around 11. I was picked to go on this summer camp type trip for a week with a bunch of kids in the year above me, 12, 13-year-olds, because of good behavior. I was the only 11-year-old. There was a boy I'd had a crush on for a while, and on the first day he asked me to be his girlfriend. Obviously we were all children, so that doesn't even mean anything, but he kept it going for the whole week, sending me notes, hugging me in the hall before we were sent to separate dorms, etc. On our last night I got a note asking me to meet him in the hall. When I went out, the entire group was there, 35 to 40 kids, all crying with laughter. He announced to everyone it had been an entire joke that the whole group had all been in on, and he'd never be interested in an ugly teacher's pet. As an adult, I'm obviously not remotely upset about the romantic rejection because I was 11 hectares, but the social rejection and the public humiliation aspect of it was tough. Anyway, I'm 24 now, and he slid into my DMs after high school, and I told him to go fuck himself, which felt good. This happened in 6th grade. I was bullied badly throughout elementary school. For reasons I still don't understand, I was made a social outcast by the mean girls. I was walking home from school with one of the cool boys in class, who was always nice to me one-on-one, but eagerly joined in the bullying otherwise. He told me that one of the girls in class was having a party after school and that I should come. I was so excited to be invited to a party with the cool kids. I went home, told my mom, and rode my bike to the girl's house. I rang the doorbell, and the whole group answered. One of them said, "Oh my God, she actually came," and they all laughed. Then the girl whose house it was said, "You can go now," and shut the door in my face. I was too ashamed to go back home and tell my mom what happened, so I rode my bike around aimlessly crying for a couple hours before going home. I am 35 years old now, and that memory still stings. I am so grateful that I had a loving home life, and social media wasn't around yet. I don't know if I would have made it through otherwise. Don't be bullies, kids. Went out for lunch with a dude I had a crush on. Told him I liked him. He said, "Are you aware of the concept of the friend zone?" My friends and I have laughed about this for years. When I was 11, the boy I was crushing on said he didn't want to go out with me because I was ugly in front of all my friends. We ended up getting together in our late teens, and we've now been together for 13 years. He doesn't remember this incident, but he is devastated that he ever said this to me, even as a child. It's not exactly a rejection, but it was me being completely oblivious and optimistic because a cute boy was nice to me. I met a guy at a club meeting in college who I thought was pretty cute. He invited me to hang out a couple times to do homework or grab breakfast together in the dining hall, and seemed into me compliments and lots of eye contact and listened to me when I talked, etc., but never made a physical move. But we were both 18-year-old virgins meeting in public spaces, so it wasn't unreasonable to assume he was just shy, because I certainly was. After a while, he invited me to go see a movie, so I figured that this was like a date. I meet up with him at the movie theater, and it turned out he was going with a group of people, and it wasn't just the two of us. That should have been a signal, but nope. I spend the first half of the movie trying to snuggle up to him, hold his arm or hand, be cute, etc. I finally started to realize that he was super not into it when I rested my hand on his knee and he picked it up and returned it to my lap. We got out of the theater, and he turned to me in front of everyone and said, "You know I'm gay, right?" If the ground could have opened up and swallowed me whole at that moment, I would have welcomed it. I felt awful that I'd spent an hour or so trying to snuggle with someone who was uncomfortable and too polite to tell me to back off, and still cringe to think about it now. Got sat down for coffee with my boyfriend of 2 years, and he said, "I am bored of you now. Let's break up." Then picked up his coffee and left. Tore at me for a while, but I got over it. More pissed off than anything he wasted my time. How the fuck can people do this to people they've been in relationships with? And long ones? Romantic relationships are so damn scary. I don't want to spend years with someone only for them to easily toss me away. After living with my boyfriend, now ex, for a couple of years, I was going through a bit of a depression. Things started to look up, and I was starting to put my life back together. We'd only had sex a few times in as many months, and he mentioned that when I was ready, he'd like me to initiate. He didn't want to pressure me. Great. He's been super understanding so far, and this just shows how supportive he is. The next day I try to initiate because I have a cool, understanding, supportive boyfriend that I love. He stops me and says, "Don't you want to lose some weight first? I don't want you to be upset if I can't get hard because of your belly flab." Noped out of that relationship real fast. A guy told me he was only dared to talk to me because I was the ugliest girl in the room. This story is from last year and probably still counts as my most painful, and also confusing, rejection. I had known a man for several years online, and we had gotten very close. We met over World of Warcraft, and we played together literally every day for 2+ years, talking on Discord, and eventually we started flirting a bit. He starts begging me to come visit him, as he lives across the country unfortunately, and I enthusiastically say yes because at this point I am stupidly in love. He spends months going on and on about his feelings for me, how he's always liked me and how he's in love, how I'm so beautiful and he can't wait to kiss me, etc., etc. At this point he's video chatted with me multiple times and seen many full body pictures of me, so he definitely knows what I look like. Which brings me to the weird part. We finally meet and he treats me like a sister and seems really uncomfortable with the idea of kissing all of a sudden. The trip was very fun, but I felt really rejected. I tried hugging him when we got back to his place and he was visibly uncomfortable, telling me that he wasn't ready to make a physical move, despite him being the one begging me to come be with him. I felt really rejected and repulsive. He even sat on a different couch from me across the room, despite telling me how much he wanted to cuddle for 2 years. Late that night I asked him what was up, and he said that he found our age difference off-putting, which really upset me because he knew my age since the day we met, and he's not even that much older than me. It really felt like a lame excuse. To this day I have no idea what really happened. My only 2 guesses are that I look fatter IRL than he was expecting or that he had an IRL girlfriend or something. I'm still salty about the waste of time and money, lol. I'll offer up another suggestion. If he'd seen full pics before, it wasn't your looks. He fell in love with the idea of being with you, not actually being with you. Showing up in person turned his fantasy into reality, and he couldn't deal with it. When I was about 14, a new kid came to our school and I made quick friends with him. We played on Xbox Live a lot together. I developed a quick crush. He texted me to get on live because he needed to tell me something. "Hey, I wanted to tell you that I really like you." I am excited but pretty sure it was a joke. "Are you messing with me? I really like you, this is not a joke." I believed him. "Chrissy, will you go out with me?" I said yes. "April Fools! I would never go out with you." Then he laughed for a good few minutes. I left the call and was really hurt. He continued to bully me for a few years after that, telling me that I am ugly and no one likes me. He moved away before senior year and I got to actually enjoy my senior year without getting bullied. What the actual fuck? I know, right? He actually got a few other guys in on bullying me too. It was horrible. In 4th grade my boyfriend broke up with me by slamming a basketball in my face on the crowded playground. Worst period of my life. I had literally just gotten out of an abusive relationship that involved several instances of rape as well as physical assault. I had rampant PTSD, knew it, and was, foolishly, trying to fill the void with alcohol and other people. Met someone on Tinder. He was a medical student and really smart, funny, handsome, and nice to me. I was wary about getting used or hurt again, so I made it my policy not to meet anyone in person that I hadn't spent some time talking to. We texted pretty much nonstop for weeks. I even opened up about my mental health, and he was seemingly kind and responsive. Planned a date. The night before we had planned to go out, he was in the area and invited himself over to my apartment. I insisted that he not come because, as I said, my mental health was not in a fantastic place and my apartment was in bad shape. But he insisted it was fine, that he didn't mind, that he accepted me and just wanted to spend time with me. So I had him come by. We talked for a bit, and he started kissing me. One thing led to another and I don't know. I didn't really feel ready for it, but I didn't feel that was important. We ended up having sex. It was a nice night though. We talked about plans for the next night, and it was implied that he was into me and we'd be seeing each other again. There was no indication whatsoever that anything was wrong on his part. Then he left in the morning. Again, we'd been texting nonstop and it just slowed to a halt. He blew off our date. A couple days later, I asked him what was up, and he essentially said that I was too messy for him and that it had put him off. Then I never heard from him again. Really felt like there was something between us. I'd basically let him earn my trust, and then he bolted once he got his notch. That really fucking hurt. Was talking to a guy for a while, and finally felt comfortable enough to send him a more risque photo. I don't send out nudes or anything, and I like this guy, so I send the photo, and he replies back, got anything better to impress me? His reasoning when pressed was, well, you're just so hot, I just wanted you to send more pictures. Nope. I stopped talking to him shortly after. That fucking neg blew up in his face. He was very apologetic after the fact, but I just told him that I wouldn't waste my time giving photos to people who don't want them. Hilariously enough, he had complained previously that he's never really receives sexy texts. I hope he's learned from that experience and is nicer to others in the future. When I was about 17, I went to the park on a double date with a good friend of mine and two guys we just met. We'd been there for about 10 minutes when dude number 1 suddenly shouts, I'll bet you $10 I can run through those trees and back in 60 seconds. And he just takes off into the forest. After a few minutes, dude number 2 decides his friend must have gotten lost, runs to his car, and drives away. We never saw or heard from either dude again. It was a very strange experience because these guys pursued us, and we're still not sure what made them run for the hills after spending just 10 minutes alone with us. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.